on the 18th of September. It was reported in the BBC that Mr. Beast and Amazon Studios were named in a lawsuit over the Beast Games production. So Beast Games, for those who do not know, it was due to be, or could be, or should be, a large game show that Mr. Beast was doing in collaboration with Amazon. I believe it was going to be distributed on Amazon Prime for the the winner of this competition to win around £3.5 million or so. I think it was about $5 million, somewhere around there. Great, massive, it was meant to be this great spectacle thing, but there's obviously been some issues. As the BBC reported about the lawsuit, the 54-page document also details an alleged unsafe environment that contains penned into small areas, dangerous sets, insignificant background checks allowing convicted criminals to partake, and some claims where physical injury and access to non-essential medical care was given, with also talk of cultures of misogyny. Now, this is of course on top of the issues that Mr. Beast is running into at the moment, you could say, related to the video, or the videos, should I say, that Dog Pack 404 has put out, the first video of which we've completely talked about, so I'll leave those valuable links down below, along also with the collaboration that we heard last week as well, with Logan Paul and KSI to create their Lunchables competitor, which, fun fact, Mr. Beast broke his silence on dealings with some of the criticism on that, but hasn't specifically said excluding. They are going to hire a third party to do an investigation on the Ava Chris Tyson situation, and also some other unappropriate behaviour within the company, all of which I'll be talking about in a little bit more detail in coming weeks as I cover as and when those stories come up within the show. But moving back to this lawsuit specifically, there was also, quote, creation of a hostile environment where where there was encouragement or a reality where sexual harassment was potentially taking place, and also claims that they are seeking thousands of dollars for everyone who took part as unpaid wages. It was something along the lines of the fact that because of the state they're in, even if they're voluntary competitors, they could be classed and are classed as employees, which means they have different benefits and obviously would required to be paid for their time and their energy from, like any production, like any job, right? Taking part in the production means you get paid for that. So there are things to come. There are things to think about. I did watch a video this week from another creator that again will be linked down below, that did highlight and point out that it's very likely that this is going to be one of those lawsuits that we hear about and then disappears, because I don't believe, and I agree with him in the respect, I don't believe that Mr. Beast or Amazon specifically are going to want this to drag on, number one. Number two, definitely not go to public or court discovery process where transcripts can be made public and the whole process will be made public, because this is the whole issue. There's a public PR nightmare happening for Mr. Beast right now because of all the allegations related to some of which was discussed in Dog Pack 404's videos, but also these alleged around Beast Games. It all seems to have broke all around the same time, and it's very likely that it will be settled out of court, and in the likelihood that those people who are affected in this lawsuit do get paid off, they will only be paid off with the understanding and with them signing a non-disclosure to not speak about it at all publicly ever. Right now, there's been some kind of question marks, and we'll obviously see what happens here, but there is, been other claims, like, the plaintiffs alleged a production guide called How to Be Successful on a Mr. Beast Production, which encouraged directly to do anything to help for the talent to be made idiots. And this specific guide was made public a couple of weeks ago, and was nothing new, because we all, the internet, the public hive mind, you could say, already knew about a lot of these allegations. But what it did do, or a lot of this culture conversation, but what it did do is it put it in one document and said that what the issues are here. And allegedly, Mr. Beast production company and Amazon Studios created a toxic or a hostile environment where some of these other alleged things did take place. But that is Mr. Beast being named in a lawsuit related to his new Beast games, which, by assumption, because of the issues, because of the concerns, because of the the reality, where there was also some reports where, for example, there was more challenging, worrying facts put in place in the game show. For example, looting medical care and not allowing or not looking after female health needs either. So that's obviously really, really bad and really, really challenging. But there's been a lot of conversation around that, and I'm guessing, by the assumption and by the issues here, that Beast Games will never finish production and it will never actually come to Amazon Prime, and it would probably end up being a quote-unquote writ-off project. But that is all we know about the actual lawsuit specifically. That's all we know about what's going on with it. So if there is anything that does come out, and if by a stroke of God it does go to trial, and there is discovery, and there is transcripts, and there is that kind of thing that come up, I'll of course talk about it. I'll bring it to the show.